Hello, loves. Hello, hello, hello. It is time for the Gemini full moon oracle card transmissions. This is the transmission for you in this moment. If you were called to this beautiful dendritic agate, sometimes this is called merlinite, and other times it's also called blizzard stone egg. You can see the root structure here. There's this sense with this stone of the interconnectedness of all of everything. There's a sense of the tree of life, of the ability to find your connection to Source, to anchor and ground wisdom, and to birth new with the egg shape. The egg shape, you get all of this internal work happening, and it's like being in the cooker. You're you're finding all of the ways to form yourself so that you can eventually start to poke out and emerge with a new sense of self, a new trueness of yourself, and another opening to self. For this reading, we have the Isis Oracle has come through. We'll also receive a couple of cards from the Wild Unknown Archetype stack. And our tarot deck is Tarot Cosmico. What is that alerting you to? Is there some chaos energy in your being, some distractedness? Is there a way that you can sink into this transmission a little bit more deeply? That's what's coming through for me. What's coming through for you from those sirens? There's something about the Earth Grand Trine between Persephone and Isis, Magdalena, and Kali, the North Node, and Uranus. It's feeling really alive as I'm shuffling these cards. We'll see what it is about that. But there definitely feels like an ability to, it came through even in the way that I described our beautiful agate here, that we are in a cooker, that we are in an egg, and that we are connecting into divine source from within this space to help reform us and let us come through into the new with a deeper knowing of who we are and what we are. You let that sense of being fertilized come through. It's coming through about how not every egg that a chicken or duck lays is fertilized. So can we start to allow ourselves to touch into that fertilization of the egg? That is what is being connected to here. As you connect into your divine sense of self, you are fertilizing yourself. And then you can go into your state of incubation. And allow all of that to integrate within you until it's time to hatch. The brother in darkness, overcoming negative energy with feminine power. What does that mean to you? In the story, we'll go at it from that way. What this card is referring to is Set, Osiris and Isis's brother, who was motivated by jealousy and greed, envy, and wanted what his brother and sister had, and was further motivated by anger and jealousy and greed when Osiris impregnated his other sister, Nefertiti. I'm sorry about that. I've lost the name. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's feel for a minute here. That was my cue to pause. It's the negative energy that wants the voice more than the story. That's what's coming in. When we feel into what was motivating Set, we can feel those emotions of anger and jealousy, of envy. They're emotions that every human being has encountered at some point in time. And I mean every single human being. Some of us are able to transit through those emotions more quickly than others, to let them go. But they are part of humanness. This is what is meant with the overcoming with feminine power. Now, in the story, the way that Isis overcomes Set's jealousy is through the literal rebirthing, the regeneration of Osiris, who had been killed. And then once again, through the searching out and finding all of the dismembered pieces of Osiris, putting him back together and once again reviving him. When we feel into this from an energetic perspective, as opposed to the details of the story, one of the ways that we can feel this is when one of these emotions, that these quote unquote negative emotions, these jealousies, these angers, these hurts, these envies, when one of them comes through, rather than trying to banish it or trying to act upon it, either of which would create a backlash of sorts of that, and internalizing of that, and an inability to find whole self because you are identifying with I am this victim who's envious, I am this victim who is angry. It's putting you in a state of victimhood, of disempowerment. But if you feel into envy, let's go with envy. You can feel it rise up in you when somebody is, yes, I will. I'm being told I have to share my personal story with envy here. I, over the last couple of years, in particular over the last year, have really been exploring my relationship to envy, to jealousy. And one of the things that I have found is I can have that sensation rise up in me, even if the thing that the person who's telling me about what they're experiencing is not something that I want at all. Not even a little bit, but I can feel it rise up in me. As they're sharing with me the experience, I can feel like, oh, I would like to have that experience. That sounds interesting. What is that experience? I want to know what that experience feels like. But then when I go a level deeper, it's not true. Like I don't actually want to have that experience. But I love experiencing things. So there's a part of me that's like, I would like to taste what's on that person's plate. My ability to connect that it's not actually an experience that I would like to have, It's simply that I have a Sagittarius North Node, and well, part of my North Node is in Sagittarius anyways, and I love learning new things, and one of the ways that you learn new things is through experiencing things. And so for me, when somebody tells me about something that they're having, instead of getting all upset when that feeling of envy comes in, I can say, "Oh, hi. No, I don't actually want to, have that experience that you're having right now. I love that I get to learn from you through witnessing you having that experience." You see what I did there? I flipped it. It's not, I need to have that experience. I need to possess what the other person possesses. Instead, it's, ooh, look at how lucky I am that I get to experience this vicariously through you. I get to witness it and shine and glory in all of the amazingness. Another way that it's come in is when I see somebody wearing an outfit that I really like or having a haircut that I really like. I used to think that that meant that I needed to have that outfit, or I needed to have those shoes, or I needed to have that haircut. But that wasn't actually true. I just thought that the other person looked fucking fabulous. And it took me a while to get to that state of wholeness unto self, and that's what the feminine power is about. It's about finding the true unification of yourself, reforming and rebirthing a construct that you have been living, allowing it to move through you and re-emerge in a new way. And so now I can say, oh, I love those pants, with knowing that they would not look nearly as good on me, and I don't need those pants. They're not my pants. They're not for me. That haircut looks amazing on you, but if I tried to wear it, it would look silly. And I can glory, and I can be so happy, and I can shine love and light to all of the beings that I see wandering around the world, having all of these experiences and doing all of these things that are fucking amazing. And I don't have to experience or be or do all of them myself, because we are all connected to one another. And the wisdom that we share is how this happens. One of the things that's coming through right now is the eggs in a womb. When a female is in utero, all of the eggs that they will ever produce are in there with them. So when you're in your mother's womb, if you're in a female body, you are a part of all of the eggs that she has, all of the eggs that her mother had while she was in the womb, and all of the eggs that you have and on down the line. And we can see this thread weaving. And if you're in a masculine body and you don't have eggs in that way, you are still connected. You are still connected. And all of the zygotes, all of the sperm that will flow through your being are flowing through your being through a connection to the eggs in your grandmother's womb and in your mother's womb. And therefore, we are all receiving all of the information all of the time. And so there's not really a need to be jealous, because everything that you need, you already have. Alrighty then. one way to overcome negative energy. I feel like there's so much more that could be said there. That there's so many ways in which we can explore that. You know, anger is another one. Especially like rage. It's not about saying I'm not allowed to be angry. Just like envy or jealousy, these are part of the human condition. And when I read this word overcoming, I don't read it as a banishment. I read it as a rising up to view what's happening from a higher perspective so that you can then get under it. You see how that works? You rise up. You over it so that you can see it from a different perspective, and then you come under it. And it rises up once again with you. And that is a way of transmuting a quote-unquote negative energy. You don't sink into it and let it become the identifying element of who you are. Instead, you rise over it. You lift yourself up like a falcon over it so that you can see the fullness of it, where it comes from, and all of its different ways that it exists. And from that space, then you can move under it. Let's see what archetypes want to come through for us here. I feel like that's a really strong practice for us as we're moving through these next couple of months in particular. As we're moving through this ending and beginning, and we're being asked to really get in touch with the way that we think and how that is creating the way that we feel, which then creates the world that we see around us. And if we can connect into these more negative, these harsher, maybe is a good word for it, emotional states of being, we can find ways to move through them that are cleaner. And therefore, we can build ourselves a world that is cleaner. That doesn't hurt. Others or self. It doesn't hurt the earth, herself. The one. See that? See that egg? Doesn't it look like the card? The crystal. Amazing. I actually, just before, I love when this happens, just before I sat down to facilitate this reading, I thought about this card. And the words that came in are, you are the one you've been waiting for. You are the one. Eros. Eros is sometimes thought of with a negative, in a negative light, like a form of lustful love, and then sometimes made into Cupid. But Eros is both the sun and the partner of Venus in myth. And it comes into that unification again. What story are we telling ourselves? Can we become whole unto self? Can we become the one that we've been waiting for? As opposed to looking outside self, Cupid's arrow, trying to find that thing outside of self. There's that jealousy and envy again. That thing outside of ourselves that will make us complete. I have another story. Because this is the story time reading transmission. I had a job that was really painful for me, and I worked there for 11 years. 11 years I worked for a hedge fund for a woman who was very unhappy, and so wanted everyone around her to also be unhappy. And it was a wife and husband that I worked for, and they would come into her office right in front of my desk and fight almost every day. And I would instant message Mike and I'd be like, Mom and Dad are fighting again. And I have a personal trauma history with husbands and wives, my mother and stepfather, my father and his second wife, probably my mother and father as well, but they divorced when I was very young, and I don't really remember them being married. Fighting, and very violently, extremely violently. So every single time this would happen, because I was disconnected from myself, I internalized it, and I went straight back to that little girl watching her mom get the shit kicked out of her. Even though their fights weren't violent. My bosses, not my mom's. But internally for myself, this is what I was seeing. This is what I was feeling. As a way of coping with this, because I was so disassociated from myself, I turned to lots of substances and shopping. And I would go out and try and fill this pain within myself at Bloomingdale's. Buying expensive shoes and doing all of these things to try and make this pain that I was feeling go away. And it would work for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I would feel it all over again. And this was part of my awakening path. I had to go through all of this. Excuse me. I had to go through all of this so that I could learn these things for myself. However, the thing that I have learned the most is that there is nothing outside of myself that is going to make me complete. The only thing that will make me complete is to become the one that I have been waiting for, is to be the one, to be whole unto self. And therefore, I can look at any of those moments in time when I am feeling an envy or a jealousy, an anger, any of these heavier, denser emotions come through, and I can say, well, that's not true. That's not truly who I am. So what's underneath it? And I can come up here and I can take that falcon, that eagle's perch, and look at it from a different way, because I am able to connect in with the fact that it is not actually true. Going on that trip is not going to complete me. Having that pair of shoes is not going to complete me. The only thing that is going to complete me is me. I feel like we're being asked here. I'm going to take a sip of something. I feel like we're being asked here to connect in with the ways in which we are seeking outside of self for completion. And I'm not talking here about teachers and circles and places where we are guided to connect in with ourselves. I'm talking about things like that chocolate chip cookie, that pair of expensive shoes, that glass of champagne, that cigarette, that thing that we're that relationship is a good one. That relationship where we're seeking wholeness through another. To find and connect in with those ways in which we are othering ourselves, limiting ourselves, victimizing ourselves. This is not about shaming or judging. When you can find, when you can connect to one of those places, read fucking Joyce. Sing and dance hallelujah. Because you just found a place where you were separating yourself, and now you can remember your wholeness. That's a fucking grace yum. Can you allow yourself, instead of, oh, I shouldn't have had that cookie. I know I was trying to fill a void in myself. Can you say, oh, wow, I didn't really need that cookie. I was trying to fill a void in myself. Ooh, let's figure out where that void is. What's it connected to? What was actually happening in that moment? And sometimes also a cookie is just a cookie. So let things also be the thing that they are. Sometimes you just need a new pair of shoes. You just actually do. Or that haircut that you see on that person would look good on you. And so then you can have that love and gratitude for, yay, I learned this new thing about myself. Do you see how many ways we can play with this energy? And how many lines connect us into our oneness? How many lines connect us into our oneness? And notice that this is card number 30. We have 3 10s. 3 is a number of unification, and 10 is the number of completion. Feel this tarot here. I keep feeling like there's a meditation that wants to come through, but it's not one of the more traditional frequency meditations that come through in these transmissions and that come through my channel. It is an exercise more so. And it's asking you to write this down, to find these times, and whenever you are able to connect in with one of them, to write it down, maybe with hearts all over it. Be like, oh, look, I found you. Amazing, thank you. And then let it fly away. You can light the piece of paper on fire. You can delete the note on your phone or computer where you wrote it down. You can, tear it up, sprinkle it somewhere. However it's called for you. But it feels like, this is a really amazing way to play with the mental part of this energy, with the communication part of this energy that's so loud right now. We have Mars conjunct the moon in Gemini. Our mental bodies and our ability to communicate have a deep link to our unconscious right now. And at the end of the month, Mercury is about to go retrograde. Mars already is. So that is giving us even more ability to connect in with our unconscious, our subconscious, the way that we act in the world that we are not connected to usually on a day-to-day basis. And so we can use that. Neptune also just became direct in Pisces. We can use that energy to write it down every time you connect into one of these places where you normally would have tried to find something outside yourself, where when you feel an emotion like jealousy come in, you can say, I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to grab a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper, and I'm going to write this down and say, and let it flow. Let it be stream of consciousness, right? Like, let yourself get out of your head and write down the truth of what that emotion actually is. You'll probably be surprised what you find. And then once you see it, draw a big heart around it and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, higher self, thank you, myself, thank you, my guides, thank you, all of myself, for showing me this. I can now let it go. And then you can do whatever you're called to do with that piece of paper. How many tarot cards are coming in? We're getting 3 tarot cards in this reading. This transmission has 3 tarot cards in it. That's what it feels like. There it is. Okay. Oh, the sun. The sun, the one. You are the starlight. You are the one that you've been waiting for. And this is also linking us into making the unconscious conscious. The sun represents your outward expression of self. The Three of Wands. There's that three again. Wands are fire. They relate to your sense of self. And the devil. Transformation. The words, the devil is in the details, just came through. The devil is in the details. What is some of the story of the devil? It's banishment, right? Negativity. Can we allow ourselves to connect in with the truth of ourselves and with these places where we have banished ourselves, and allow ourselves to transform through that into the true self that we are? There's this piece that's coming in about what we call the devil and what we call God. These aspects. We feel how when we shame our anger, we're actually feeding it. That the stories of the God and of the devil are manipulations of a deeper truth about the wholeness of self, of the integration of shadow and light, which we can see here, we can see here. The unification of the self. We explore that which we've demonized about ourselves and allow it to come out of the basement. Not as a demon, not as a wound, but with glory and gratification of the lessons that have been learned through it. With a thank you and an integration of the gift within, and an allowance of forgiveness and a releasing into the all of everything to be transmuted, the wound. One of the ways, I think this is where we're going to end. One of the ways that I have found this energy playing through my spiritual alchemy practice is allowing these shadows to come through anything that is triggering me, a pressure point, a place where I'm being squeezed. Allowing it to come through so I can see it and extol love and gratitude to it, thereby neutralizing the sting. Neutralizing the sting, like putting vinegar on a burn, so that it can begin to heal. And that I don't need to re-experience the trauma that created it in the first place. I can then forgive myself. I can forgive any of the people or other entities that were involved in that experience, and allow the wound that they are carrying because of that to also be transmuted. To not simply create my own diamond, but through the act of allowing all of this to move through me, also helping the diamond form in all that surround me, that are part of the experience that that diamond is being formed through. Can you feel how, as we forgive ourselves and forgive others for hurts, we are also allowing them to begin to be forgiven? One of the things that I have had come in about the fallen angel story, and this is really where we're going to end, is that the part of the story where the angels are banished to hell forever and ever and ever, and they will never be forgiven, isn't entirely true. That forever and ever and ever part. Those angels, those fallen angels, we're going to keep in the metaphor of the story. We're not going to go out. Those fallen angels were told that this was forever and ever and ever, in order for them to feel the depth of grief, of longing. And as new light came through, a forgiveness started to flow. And as we continue to allow forgiveness of ourselves to flow, what we're doing is we are forgiving our fallen angel selves. And through this, we are creating heaven from hell. Just that. Close your eyes. Close your eyes now. Take a couple of deep breaths, and as you do, connect in with the bottom of your feet. The bottom of your feet. To the place where you connect with the earth. And as you're connecting there, without breaking that connection, allow the line from your Earth Star chakra to move and flow all the way up to your Soul Star chakra above your head now. Can you allow yourself to hold both points simultaneously as the line moves through your Soul Star chakra and spins down around behind you and connects again in with your Earth Star? And this rotation continues. And also flows straight down through your being, connecting into your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your diaphragm, your solar plexus, your navel, your pelvic floor, your perineum, and your tailbone, down your legs, connecting in with your Earth Star chakra, which also rises up your legs, your perineum and tailbone, your pelvic floor, your psoas, your navel, your solar plexus and diaphragm, up into your heart, your throat, connecting in with your ears, your sinuses, your third eye, your physical eyes, out through your crown, up to your Soul Star chakra. And now you have this beautiful spinning energetic torus. And as it's spinning, it flows, rotating like the earth around your being. You can see it's not single lines moving up and down, but lines upon lines upon lines upon lines, all connected and flowing simultaneously up and down from your Soul Star to your Earth Star and back and forth and in and out. And they start to glow various colors as they move, gold and red and pink and green and blue. Every color in the visible spectrum of the rainbow, and in the not so visible to our human eyes spectrums. And as this vortex, this chariot of your fire, spins and spins and spins, it opens your stellar gateway up, 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 up. you stay present in your being as this chariot connects you out and around through all the planes and dimensions of this cosmos. Can you remember that you are also an embodied being on this earth in this moment? Can you be both? Can you be both? Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel your heartbeat. As you dance among the stars, remembering that these beautiful dance partners are also your light. They are the same as you and you as them. Allow yourself to receive their beautiful light, remembering that it is your light. And as you receive this light, as you dance among the stars, you begin to notice that this light is actually also blooming from within your body, glowing up from your Earth Star chakra, from your heart, from your navel, emanating from your pores. This rainbow light is not separate from you. It is you. It is your physical body. It is. It is. How you see it is unique to you. How you feel it, how you experience it, and how you share it. But it is the truth of you. You are this light. And as your Merkaba, your chariot, comes into an equalization with your being, your soul star chakra, connected in to your stellar gateway, also stabilizing now, not closing, but just kind of quieting down to make it a little easier to move through embodied existence now. Your whole being also quiets down. As a beautiful violet flame rises up from the bottom of your feet, helping to burn away anything that you don't need anymore from your travels. A beautiful emerald green light encapsulates you, birthing from within your heart center with faint speckles of pink all throughout. And as everything begins to settle in, you remember your feet, your Earth Star chakra. You can feel your toes wiggling. Begin to feel your fingers wiggle too. Connecting with your breath a little bit more. With the air making contact with your skin, with the blood running through your veins. With the waters of your being flowing. And ever so gently, you begin to hear the sounds of the room around you, smell the smells, and slowly start to blink your eyes open.